Marco Polo was born into a prominent Venetian family in 1254. Venice, during this period, was a bustling maritime republic known for its mercantile prowess and cultural vibrancy. Marco grew up in an environment shaped by trade, where merchants from all corners of the world congregated, exchanging goods, ideas, and stories. Marco's father, Marco Polo, and his uncle, Marco Polo, were established merchants who conducted business across the Mediterranean. Their trading ventures often took them to distant lands, fostering a spirit of adventure and curiosity within the family. The Polo family's interest in trade extended beyond the familiar routes of the Mediterranean. They were intrigued by the fabled Silk Road, the ancient network of trade routes that connected east and west, facilitating the exchange of silk, spices, precious stones, and ideas. Marco Polo received a comprehensive education, befitting his status as the son of a wealthy merchant. He was well versed in languages, mathematics, and the arts, laying the groundwork for his future travels and diplomatic endeavors. From a young age, Marco Polo accompanied his father and uncle on business trips, gaining first-hand experience in the intricacies of commerce and navigation. These early journeys instilled in him a deep fascination for distant lands and cultures. Marco Polo's upbringing instilled in him a sense of wanderlust and a desire for adventure. He was captivated by tales of far-off lands, exotic customs, and untold riches, fueling his ambition to explore the uncharted territories of the East. The Polo family's legacy of trade and exploration inspired Marco to embark on his own journey of discovery. He saw himself as part of a lineage of intrepid explorers, eager to leave his mark on the world and expand the horizons of knowledge and commerce. As Marco Polo matured, he became increasingly drawn to the allure of the East. The stories of merchants who adventured beyond the horizon, seeking fortune and adventure, stirred his imagination and kindled a burning desire to follow in their footsteps. Venice itself was a melting pot of cultures, where East met West in a dynamic fusion of ideas, trade, and artistic expression. The city's cosmopolitan atmosphere exposed Marco to a multitude of influences from Byzantine art and architecture to Arabic science and literature that would shape his worldview and intellectual pursuits. Under the guidance of his father, Marco Polo, and his uncle, Marco Polo, Marco received a hands-on education in the art of commerce. He learned how to negotiate deals, assess market trends, and navigate the complex web of trade routes that crisscross the Mediterranean. Marco's apprenticeship was not confined to the confines of a classroom. He gained practical experience by participating in every aspect of the trading process, from procuring goods and negotiating prices to managing cargo and overseeing transactions. As the Polos conducted business in various ports of call, Marco had the opportunity to interact with merchants, sailors, and traders from diverse cultural backgrounds. He honed his linguistic skills, mastering multiple languages, including Arabic, Persian, and Turkish, which would prove invaluable during his later travels in the East. Marco's education extended beyond the realm of commerce to encompass the practical skills necessary for maritime travel. He learned the basics of navigation, seamanship, and maritime logistics, laying the groundwork for his future voyages across the seas. Marco's exposure to different cultures and intellectual traditions broadened his horizons and stimulated his curiosity about the wider world. He was exposed to new ideas, technologies, and philosophies that challenged his assumptions and expanded his understanding of the human experience. Marco inherited his father's and uncle's entrepreneurial spirit and instinct for seizing opportunities. He learned to adapt to changing circumstances, take calculated risks, and innovate in the pursuit of profit, a mindset that would serve him well in the competitive world of international trade. Marco Polo's fascination with the Silk Road, the ancient network of trade routes that connected Europe and Asia, played a pivotal role in shaping his worldview and fueling his desire for exploration. Marco Polo was captivated by the Silk Road's rich tapestry of peoples, landscapes, and civilizations, which beckoned him to embark on a journey of discovery. One of the most lucrative commodities traded along the Silk Road was spices. Marco was intrigued by the exotic spices of the East, such as pepper, cinnamon, and cloves that commanded exorbitant prices in European markets. He recognized the potential for immense profits to be made by tapping into this lucrative trade route. Silk was another prized commodity that traversed the Silk Road. Marco was fascinated by the fine silk fabrics and garments produced in China, which were highly coveted by European nobility for their luxuriousness and exclusivity. He saw an opportunity to capitalize on the demand for these exquisite goods by establishing trade ties with Chinese merchants. The Silk Road facilitated not only the exchange of goods but also the transmission of ideas, beliefs, and artistic traditions. Marco was intrigued by the diverse cultures and civilizations that flourished along the Silk Road, from the bustling markets of Baghdad to the majestic cities of Samarkand and Bukhara. He recognized the potential for cross-cultural collaboration and mutual enrichment that could arise from fostering closer ties between East and West. The Silk Road also served as a conduit for the dissemination of technological innovations such as papermaking, printing, and gunpowder, which revolutionized society and commerce. For Marco Polo, the Silk Road symbolized the romance of exploration and adventure. It represented a gateway to the unknown, where every turn of the road held the promise of discovery and revelation. He was drawn to the challenge of traversing vast deserts, scaling towering mountains, and braving perilous trade routes in search of fortune and glory. The departure of Marco Polo and his family from Venice marked the beginning of their epic journey to the East, a journey that would span decades and traverse continents, leaving an indelible mark on history. Before setting sail, Marco Polo and his family meticulously planned their expedition, taking into account factors such as route, provisions, and diplomatic arrangements. They consulted maps, gathered supplies, and made arrangements for the management of their affairs in their absence. As the day of departure drew near, Marco bid farewell to the familiar sights and sounds of Venice, the winding canals, the bustling markets, the majestic palaces, knowing that he was embarking on a journey into the unknown. He felt a mixture of excitement, trepidation, and anticipation as he prepared to leave behind the comforts of home and venture into the uncharted territories of the East. In the spring of 1271, Marco Polo, along with his father Niccolo and his uncle Maffeo, set sail from the port of Venice, bound for the distant lands of the East. Their ship, laden with provisions and cargo, plied the waters of the Mediterranean, carrying them ever closer to their destination. As they sailed eastward, Marco marveled at the changing landscapes and seascapes that unfolded before him. The azure waters of the Adriatic, the rugged coastline of Greece, the sun-drenched islands of the Aegean. Each day brought new adventures and challenges as they navigated the winds and currents of the open sea. During their voyage, Marco and his companions encountered a variety of ships and seafarers from different lands and cultures: Greek traders, Arab merchants, Genoese sailors, all bound for distant ports of call. These encounters provided Marco with valuable insights into the diversity of the maritime world and the interconnectedness of global trade. As they sailed farther from home, Marco reflected on the purpose of their journey and the opportunities it presented for adventure, discovery, and enrichment. He felt a sense of duty and responsibility to his family and to himself to make the most of this extraordinary opportunity to explore the unknown. With each passing day, Marco felt the pull of the East growing stronger. The allure of distant lands, the promise of untold riches, the mysteries waiting to be uncovered. He knew that their destination lay beyond the horizon, across vast oceans and trackless deserts. But he was determined to press on, guided by a sense of purpose and a thirst for adventure. After departing from Venice, Marco Polo and his family embarked on a daring overland expedition along the ancient Silk Road, traversing deserts, mountains, and perilous trade routes in their quest to reach the court of Kublai Khan in the east. The Polo family's journey began with a trek across the Byzantine Empire, where they encountered bustling cities, majestic palaces, and ancient ruins steeped in history and tradition. They marveled at the architectural wonders of Constantinople and the opulence of the imperial court, but their ultimate destination lay beyond the confines of Europe. Leaving behind the familiar sights of the Mediterranean, Marco and his companions ventured into the rugged landscapes of Anatolia, where they encountered nomadic tribes, ancient ruins, and bustling bazaars. They navigated treacherous mountain passes and swift-flowing rivers, overcoming obstacles with determination and resilience. As they journeyed eastward, the Polos crossed the rugged terrain of the Armenian highlands, where they encountered breathtaking landscapes, rugged terrain, and remote settlements. They marveled at the natural beauty of the region, with its snow-capped peaks, lush valleys, and fertile plains. The Polos' route took them across the vast expanse of the Iranian plateau, where they encountered arid deserts, towering mountains, and ancient caravanserais. They braved sandstorms, scorching temperatures, and bandit raids as they made their way through this inhospitable landscape. Along the way, Marco and his companions encountered various nomadic tribes, including the Turkic and Mongol peoples, who roamed the steppes in search of pasture land for their herds. They observed their customs, traditions, and way of life, gaining insights into the nomadic cultures of Central Asia. One of the most challenging segments of the journey was the crossing of the Pamir Mountains, also known as the Roof of the World. Marco and his companions navigated treacherous mountain passes, frigid temperatures, and thin air as they made their way through this rugged and unforgiving terrain. After crossing the Pamirs, the Polos descended into the Tarim Basin, a vast desert basin surrounded by towering mountain ranges. They braved sandstorms, extreme temperatures, and scarce water sources as they made their way across this desolate landscape. After months of arduous travel, the Polos finally arrived in the oasis city of Kashgar, a bustling trading hub on the fringes of the Taklamakan Desert. They rested and resupplied, preparing for the next leg of their journey into the heart of the Mongol Empire. After months of arduous travel along the Silk Road, Marco Polo and his family finally arrived in the heart of the Mongol Empire, where they would soon come face to face with the legendary ruler Kublai Khan. As the Polos ventured deeper into the Mongol territories, they encountered a landscape that was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. Vast grasslands stretched out before them, dotted with nomadic encampments and grazing herds, while distant mountains loomed on the horizon. Upon their arrival in the Mongol capital of Karakorum, the Polos were granted an audience with Kublai Khan, the powerful ruler of the Mongol Empire. Marco was awestruck by the grandeur and opulence of the Khan's court, with its sprawling palaces, bustling markets, and diverse array of peoples from across the empire. Marco was deeply impressed by Kublai Khan's wisdom, charisma, and vision for his empire. Despite his fearsome reputation as a conqueror, Marco found the Khan to be a wise and enlightened ruler who valued knowledge, culture, and trade. Recognizing Marco's intelligence and resourcefulness, Kublai Khan appointed him as an envoy and emissary, entrusting him with diplomatic missions and administrative duties within the empire. Marco served the Khan with loyalty and dedication, earning his trust and respect. During his time in the Mongol Empire, Marco had the opportunity to explore its vast territories, from the steppes of Mongolia to the cities of China. He marveled at the diversity of landscapes, cultures, and peoples that comprised the empire, gaining insights into its complex social and political dynamics. As Kublai Khan's emissary, Marco undertook several diplomatic missions on behalf of the empire, traveling to distant provinces and neighboring countries to negotiate treaties, establish trade relations, and gather intelligence. His diplomatic skills and cultural fluency proved invaluable in bridging the gap between East and West. Marco's service to Kublai Khan earned him fame and fortune within the Mongol Empire, but it also forged lasting connections and friendships that would shape his future endeavors. He became a trusted advisor and confidant to the Khan, playing a crucial role in the administration and governance of the empire. Marco Polo's exploration of China during his time in the Mongol Empire was characterized by his extensive travels across the vast and diverse landscapes of the Middle Kingdom, where he encountered a wealth of cultural, architectural, and natural wonders. One of Marco Polo's early journeys within China took him to the imperial capital of Beijing, where he marveled at the majestic Forbidden City, with its sprawling palace complex, ornate temples, and meticulously landscaped gardens. He was impressed by the grandeur and sophistication of Chinese civilization, which surpassed anything he had seen in Europe. Marco Polo's travels also took him to the bustling city of Hangzhou, renowned for its picturesque West Lake and thriving silk industry. He explored the city's bustling markets, ancient temples, and bustling waterways, immersing himself in the vibrant cultural and commercial life of this cosmopolitan metropolis. Another highlight of Marco Polo's exploration of China was his visit to Xanadu, the summer capital of Kublai Khan's empire. Located in present-day Inner Mongolia, Xanadu was a verdant oasis, surrounded by rolling grasslands and grazing herds. Marco marveled at the Khan's opulent palace, with its intricately carved marble halls, gilded pavilions, and expansive gardens, which served as a retreat from the rigors of court life. Marco Polo also ventured into the southern regions of China, exploring provinces such as Fujian, Guangdong, and Yunnan. He marveled at the lush landscapes, terraced rice fields, and teeming cities of the south, which were a stark contrast to the arid plains and grasslands of the north. He encountered diverse ethnic groups, such as the Hakka, Zhuang, and Miao, each with their own unique customs, languages, and traditions. Throughout his travels in China, Marco Polo encountered a wealth of exotic wildlife, from giant pandas and snow leopards in the mountainous regions of Sichuan and Tibet, to rare birds and mammals in the forests and wetlands of the south. He documented his observations of these creatures in his writings, which would later captivate readers in Europe with their descriptions of the wonders of the East. One of Marco Polo's most memorable experiences in China was his exploration of the Great Wall, the monumental fortification that stretched for thousands of miles across the northern frontier of the empire. He marveled at the sheer scale and engineering prowess of the wall, which served as a symbol of China's military might and cultural heritage. Marco Polo's time in the Mongol Empire was not only marked by exploration and adventure, but also by his crucial role as a diplomat and ambassador, facilitating cultural exchange and fostering diplomatic relations between the Mongols and neighboring regions. As an envoy of Kublai Khan, Marco Polo undertook several diplomatic missions to neighboring regions, including Tibet, Burma, and Vietnam. These missions were aimed at establishing alliances, negotiating treaties, and gathering intelligence on potential threats to the empire. One of Marco Polo's most significant diplomatic missions was his journey to Tibet, where he sought to establish friendly relations with the Tibetan lamas and secure their support for the Mongol Empire. He engaged in negotiations with Tibetan religious leaders, exchanging gifts and fostering goodwill in the hopes of gaining their allegiance. Marco Polo also ventured into the kingdoms of Southeast Asia, including Burma and Vietnam, where he sought to expand the influence of the Mongol Empire and establish trade relations with local rulers. He marveled at the wealth and splendor of these kingdoms, with their ornate palaces, bustling markets, and rich cultural heritage. Marco Polo's diplomatic missions were not only about politics and trade, but also about fostering cultural exchange and collaboration between different peoples and civilizations. He facilitated the exchange of ideas, technologies, and artistic traditions, enriching the cultural tapestry of the regions he visited. Marco Polo's diplomatic efforts helped to strengthen the bonds between the Mongol Empire and its neighbors, promoting stability, prosperity, and mutual understanding in a region marked by diversity and complexity. His diplomatic skills and cultural fluency paved the way for peaceful coexistence and cooperation between different ethnic and religious groups, leaving a lasting legacy of diplomacy and goodwill. Marco Polo's ability to communicate effectively across linguistic and cultural barriers was instrumental in his success as a diplomat and ambassador. He mastered multiple languages, including Mongolian, Chinese, and Arabic, enabling him to engage with a wide range of peoples and cultures in the course of his travels. After spending over 2 decades in the East, Marco Polo and his companions embarked on their return journey to Venice, bringing with them a wealth of knowledge, experiences, and treasures from their adventures in the Mongol Empire and beyond. The Polo family's return journey began with their departure from the Mongol Empire, retracing their steps along the Silk Road and the maritime routes of the Indian Ocean. During their return journey, Marco Polo and his companions encountered a variety of challenges and adventures, from treacherous mountain passes and bandit raids to storms at sea and encounters with exotic wildlife. Each day brought new experiences and opportunities for discovery as they made their way back to Venice. After several years of travel, the Polos finally arrived back in Venice, greeted by friends, family, and fellow citizens who had eagerly awaited their return. Their homecoming was a cause for celebration, as they regaled their fellow Venetians with tales of their adventures in the East and the wonders they had encountered along the way. Upon their return to Venice, the Polo family became embroiled in a conflict between Venice and Genoa, leading to their imprisonment. It was during this time of captivity that Marco Polo dictated his travel experiences to a fellow prisoner, Rustichello de Pisa, resulting in the creation of the book The Travels of Marco Polo. The Travels of Marco Polo was published around the year 1300 and quickly became one of the most popular and influential travelogues of the Middle Ages. Translated into numerous languages and circulated throughout Europe, the book captivated readers with its vivid descriptions of the lands, peoples, and customs of the East, sparking the imaginations of generations of explorers, merchants, and scholars. Marco Polo's travels had a profound impact on European perceptions of Asia and the wider world, opening up new horizons of knowledge and inspiring future generations of explorers and adventurers. His accounts helped to dispel myths and misconceptions about the East, fostering a greater understanding and appreciation of its cultures and civilizations. Subscribe for more and comment down below if you're interested in more long-form videos.